that kind of brings us to our next question, is what does that pre-construction team look like? I totally agree. I've had lots of success as a subcontractor using that same approach, going in there and focusing specifically on the details of the project and doing that research ahead of time. So I agree that seems to be the best way to market it. But then, what does that pre-construction team look like? I've got to believe you had almost an edge because you had the architectural background, and I know we do have several GCs that have architects on staff in project management roles or in pre-construction roles specifically for that reason. Can you dive kind of more deeply into what that pre-construction team would look like?
Well, yeah, I'd be happy to, and it starts with the estimating team. The estimating for me when I was running my businesses was the heart and soul of the company. I mean, more good things happen and more bad things happen because of estimating than anything else. In pre-construction services, I differ hard bid estimating to conceptual estimating, as hard bid is a science, math, and a science, and conceptual estimating is an art. And the number one person on the team above anybody else is a conceptual estimator. And if you don't have one in your company now, you ought to be looking for them, because let me tell you, it's one of the hardest people to find. It's really challenging. That guy has to have an enormous database of information. Either he had it and brought it with him, or he gleans it out of your job cost reports. He's got to have a complete understanding of cost and not having to just go to subcontractors to get prices. A conceptual estimator doesn't have to call anybody, any subcontractor, drywaller, MEP guy. He can estimate the entire project himself conceptually, and he's got to be able to do that. And it's a rare breed to find them. I haven't found many hard bid estimators that can move into it, and I haven't found very many conceptual estimators that can move over to the hard bid side, because it's just a world of difference. So that's the number one person that needs to be on the team. The project manager who's going to be assigned to the project should be on the team. And typically he'll be managing other projects at the same time, so he doesn't have the same amount of time to devote, but he can be at key important meetings and be there throughout the design process, because it's critically important, because after hopefully the budget is protected, the drawings are complete, and it's ready to go out to the subs to bid, the pre-con guys, the conceptual estimating guys, they kind of drift away. The project manager has got all that information, and he carries it on into the job, so he remembers all the decisions were made and why they were made. So it's important to have the PM involved. I think you should have a senior executive involved to translate, basically translating all this work that's been done to the owner. How the conceptual guy puts together his numbers is not necessarily the way the owner needs to see them or will understand them. So a senior executive in this process is important, and not just a president of the company that drops in and shakes hands. You got to have a senior executive that gets into the decision-making process and works with the owner and the architect along with the team. The last guy that needs to come in periodically is a superintendent. He'll probably hate it because he probably hates architects, but his early input on means and methods is critically important to how the project is laid out and designed. And so superintendent that's going to be on the project, or even one that's not going to be on the project, can get good eyes on the drawings, can eliminate a lot of the early conflicts that could happen as you move forward through the design.